Okay, so AI,
Mhm.
it's everywhere, right? I mean, you see it all over the place. From those like movie recommendations that are so specific, it's kind of creepy, to self-driving cars. I mean, are we living in the future or what?
It really does feel like we're stepping into a sci-fi movie sometimes. Yeah. And, speaking of movies, that Economic Times article, Good RoboCop, Bad RoboCop, we want to deep dive today. Those images really capture that, like, sci-fi anxiety.
Right, like good robot versus bad robot. It's like they reached into our brains and pulled out those images we all have. I mean, it's thought-provoking for sure. But before we all run for the hills, let's break down what this whole AI thing really means, especially from a global perspective.
Exactly. And what's interesting is how the article really puts the spotlight on India, because they have this very specific outlook on what AI could be, both the good and the maybe not so good.
Yeah, I noticed that. They even talk about that Nandan Nilekani guy. I'll be honest, I had to look him up.
Laughs. You're not alone. He's kind of a big deal in the Indian tech world, though. Seriously, co-founded Infosys helped develop that Aadhaar system, which is like a digital ID for over 1 billion people.
Yeah.
So when this guy talks tech, people listen.
And he seems pretty optimistic about the whole AI thing.
Oh yeah, he is. He sees it as the key to unlocking all this potential in India. But here's the interesting part. It's not just about India becoming some big AI developer. It's about how they're in this unique position to be a leader and actually using AI this decade.
So not just building it, but like integrating it into their society in a deeper way. That's kind of wild. What would that even look like practically?
Imagine this. India's got this huge rural population, right? Now picture AI chatbots that can help farmers manage their crops or navigate all those government programs. We're talking real-time advice on how to get the best yields just through a simple chatbot. That's the type of thing that could be game-changing.
That's what I'm talking about. We always hear about AI and it's all self-driving cars and the newest gadgets. But this is using AI to solve real problems that affect millions of people.
Exactly. It's about who benefits and how you use the technology. And that leads us to something else that's just as important, the sheer speed at which AI is evolving. The article quotes Yuval Noah Harari, and he basically says AI development makes biological evolution look like a snail.
Wait, 1,000,000 times. You're saying it's like squeezing 1,000,000 years of evolution into 1 year.
Think about it. The human eye. It's incredibly complex, right? It took millions of years to evolve. But in just a few decades, we've gone from those clunky calculators to facial recognition software that's getting close to how we process things visually.
Whoa. Okay, that's a lot. The possibilities are amazing, but you have to think about the downsides. Are we even close to being ready for that kind of change? What about safety measures? Do we have any in place?
That is the million-dollar question. And it takes us right to another big point. The article brings up this whole issue of control. Can we really control something that is evolving that quickly?
It's like we're trying to get on this train that's already moving, but then the train's like building itself at the same time. It's a lot.
Right, like how do you even keep up? And that feeling of barely holding on, that's what Jeffrey Hinton's talking about. He's like a big name in AI.
Yeah.
The article quotes him saying, we got to figure out how to stop these things from taking control.
Yeah, that's kind of scary coming from a guy who obviously knows his stuff. And it brings up so many questions, like who even decides how to control something this powerful? Is it governments, tech companies, some kind of global AI council? We can barely handle the ethics of social media. Now we're talking about machines that can outthink us.
It's a huge challenge,
Yeah.
definitely. And the article makes a good point about needing countries to work together. They say it straight up. In an era of alternate facts, trust within and between nations is so low that special efforts will have to be made to increase collaboration.
Makes sense though, right? The last thing we need is some kind of AI arms race where everyone's just trying to build the most powerful thing without thinking about the consequences. That's like a dystopian movie waiting to happen.
Totally. And that's if you can even get everyone on the same page, which is a big if. Then you've got this whole other problem. You've got corporations. They're all about the bottom line,
Yeah.
right? So they're going to push AI development as fast as they can, but then you've got governments trying to figure out the ethical stuff and the safety regulations. How do you even balance those two things?
It's like that classic struggle, the super fast pace of new technology versus being responsible. But with AI, it feels like the stakes are way higher. Are we talking about creating something that could completely change what it means to be human?
That's the question, isn't it? It's hiding under the surface of all this. And it's not even just about setting limits or being in control. It's about figuring out what we want this future to even look like. What are our values and how do those fit in? What's our role in this world where AI is calling more of the shots?
Okay, so much to think about. We've gone from AI helping farmers to AI changing what it means to be human, all in like 20 minutes.
See? That's what a good deep dive will do. You start connecting all these different ideas, and then you see the bigger picture.
True. Okay, so let's try to recap a bit. We've got India. They're all about using AI for good. We've got this crazy speed of AI development that's blowing my mind. And we've got this whole question of control. What's standing out to you the most?
You know what gets me? It's just how new all of this is. We're not talking about like the next version of the internet or a smartphone. This feels different, bigger. And the article does a good job of laying out the challenges, but I think the most important thing is that the future of AI isn't set in stone. We're deciding what it's going to be right now with every choice we make, together and on our own.
I'm really glad you brought up individual choice, because that's huge. Yeah, governments and big companies have to do their part. But what about us, regular people, consumers, users of this technology? What's our responsibility in all of this? How do we help create a future where AI is a good thing, not just another way to make money or control things? It's like we're all in this sci-fi movie and we're writing the script as we go.
And we're all the writers, even if we don't realize it. Every time we use something with AI, like asking Siri for directions or using an app with facial recognition, we're adding to this huge pile of data that's shaping how AI develops.
So it's not just about some future where robots are in charge. It's about the choices we're making right now that are building that future.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to be having these conversations. We can't just accept the technology without thinking about what it means for our lives and what we believe in.
You've given us a lot to think about. Before we go down that rabbit hole too far, how about we do a quick recap of what we've learned from this article?
Good idea. Okay, so we started with India and their unique perspective on AI, especially their focus on using it for social good. Remember those examples of AI chatbots helping out farmers and rickshaw drivers? Those were pretty powerful.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good reminder that AI isn't just about making money. It has the potential to solve some of the world's biggest problems.
And that potential is even bigger because of how fast AI is evolving.
Yeah.
Remember that crazy stat? 1,000,000 times faster than biological evolution. It's exciting, but also kind of scary.
Totally. It's like we're building a plane while we're flying it, except the plane is also learning to fly itself. And that brings us to that other big takeaway, the control issue. Can we even control something that's changing so fast? And who gets to decide?
Those are the tough questions. The article really stressed the need for global cooperation, which makes sense with a challenge this big.
For sure. We can't have everyone off doing their own thing. We need a shared understanding of what AI means ethically and the risks involved. And maybe even more importantly, a shared vision of the kind of future we want to create with this technology.
Couldn't agree more. And that's where I think we as individuals come in. We can't just wait for governments or tech companies to figure it all out. We need to understand what's happening, be involved, and speak up about what we believe in.
So it's not just about understanding AI. It's about deciding how it's used and who benefits from it. It's about having a voice in shaping the world we want to live in.
Exactly. Because the future of AI isn't some set thing. It's a story we're all writing together.
Now that is a thought. And the perfect way to wrap up this deep dive.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time.
And to everyone listening, keep asking those questions, keep learning, and keep imagining. Because the future of AI is in our hands.